This is Mom. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Millennial Mom. You don't know who is who because you didn't watch the intro video. I am Millennial. This is Mom. And before we even start, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe button, and Mom, I always forget this part because it's new now.
The membership. We have a membership for a small fee where we'll shout you out for your occasions, birthdays, and graduations, whatever you have going on. And there'll be inside looks on Millennial Mom coming up shortly.
Thank you, Mom. It's not an infomercial. But you guys are not here for all that. You're here for us to talk about Married at First Sight, Season 15, Episode 10, Moody Monthiversaries. Let's just go ahead and jump right into it.
So it starts off with Kristen and Mitch. Kristen is meeting with her friend Zoe. What they always do, talk about how things are going. By now you would think that the friends ought to know because you have the meet and greets and all this other stuff, but maybe the friend wasn't there. But
we need a storyline. We need an introduction.
Right, but Kristen is saying how Mitch isn't necessarily following her dreams, what she wants to do. She says that the marriage is going good, but when it comes to like flipping those houses and he's having a really hard time of following her passion. And she's saying how her mom and dad they wouldn't necessarily feel good about him as a person, knowing that he's not allowing her or wanting her to follow her dreams, because this is something that she really wants to do. And I'm thinking, is it really that deep? Or are you trying to figure out why Mitch doesn't want you to do this particular, I don't know, it's not a job, but particular
career choice?
I guess. I really don't understand what is going on with that situation. I know he's a conservative and all, but
we're going to call him an environmentalist. Isn't that what he called himself?
Yeah.
We go through this every week.
We do. But other than that, Kristen said the marriage is going good. Everything's going good, but that particular situation. That's what she's saying to her friend.
Yeah, that's what she says right now.
Right. So moving to Morgan and Ben, Morgan is meeting with her friend Deborah, and what comes up? The topic of the honeymoon. But also what comes up, something that we didn't know till today, was that Morgan moved out 2 days ago when she found out that Ben was talking to Justin. We see the little quick scenes that they're having an argument. Clearly, Ben is telling Justin still what's going on in the marriage, and Alexis can hear in the background, and just all kind of things going on. And
I feel
so
like you're missing a prime component to that.
I was getting to that.
Which was what? I gotta see it.
Go ahead.
So, when Ben left after they had that argument, he went to Justin and Alexis' house. Like, how does that help your case? And now, I was reading some things that some people think that Morgan's overreacting. I am personally a person who do not think Morgan's overreacting.
I don't think she's overreacting
Because
either.
how they're gonna have a FaceTime argument at Alexis and Justin's house, and then Alexis is like, I'm here too.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
even if she wasn't there,
that's a problem.
even if Alexis wasn't there, the point is he went to Justin. Now I can see going to talk to Justin to get your feelings out, see what's going on. But she said, she specifically asked him, please don't go to Justin or any other couple with our issues and concerns, and that's what he did. And then how are you going to argue on FaceTime? So I don't think she overreacted in that moment. The friend is saying, you know what, if he's not supporting you, your needs and this and that, maybe you don't need to be with each other. Because Morgan said, I expect him to be a husband, have my back and all that, and right now he's not doing that, and she don't want to continue on with this. And I could kind of see her point, because she said it's not one time but multiple times, not two but multiple times.
So one time, like, okay, you didn't really tell him specifically, don't be talking about my business to other people. But now that he knows and he's still doing it, like he has nobody else to talk to, which I know he does, I don't know how I feel about that.
So now we have Alexis and Justin. Justin is hanging out with his brother Terrell, and they're going fishing and just shooting the breeze, talking about stuff. And his brother wasn't really on board with him getting married anyways from the beginning, if you remember.
I remember.
But his brother's like, yeah, how's married life doing? Like, yeah, what's up, bro? How's married life going? I'm like, okay, at least he's in a good mood this time. And then Justin's like, well, we have our ups and downs, and I get emotional about things, the same things we keep hearing about Justin. But the brother knows better than we do that he's an emotional person. So the things that Justin's saying, I don't think is anything necessarily new for the brother, because it's not new to really me or us, the viewer, about what they're going through. But he says that they're trying to work things out, and the brother's trying to encourage him, like, things take time, and maybe you have to build up to what you need in the relationship and go from there. Alexis is hanging out with her friend, and she says, girl, I am not a roller coaster kind of girl. We have good days, we have bad days. Remember, Alexis is a runner. Sing it.
She's a runner, she's a true star.
And she says she doesn't like it when she has to regulate Justin's emotions.
Yes. And you know what hit me when I was watching this scene? Because I can honestly see that with Justin. And this isn't just like a fault with Justin. I feel like this happens with a lot of people when they don't understand or know coping skills, which is pretty much taught or should be taught to people when they're like younger, when they're kids. Like, I'm a teacher, so that's something you teach your kids, how to cope and regulate your emotions. Justin isn't taught that, so that's why he pops off, and Alexis doesn't want to handle that anymore because she doesn't know how to, and she doesn't want to.
Mental health is a serious thing, and a lot of people on all levels and all ages don't have coping skills. So it's something that, the stigma needs to come off of that, I think, for people to work towards to get coping skills from a professional. But either way, Alexis says that she's trying to work things out, but she's very uncomfortable, and the friend is trying to encourage her too. But the friend is kind of
uncomfortable.
Oh
too.
yeah, but the friend is also letting her know that, how would you feel if today was decision day? She said, Alexis was on both sides of the fence. No, she's like, if it was decision day, if I said no, I wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable. But if I said yes, I wouldn't feel comfortable. So it's the same thing for me. You have both feet on the same side of the fence. So moving on. You're right. Moving to Stacia and Nate, mainly Stacia. Stacia's at her mom's house for encouragement, for about her relationship, guidance, and she's saying how she doesn't want to be in a loveless marriage, and she's having trust issues. She knows Nate's having a hard time opening up, and I think her mom gives her good analogies here, good advice.
I think so too, because one of the things that she says off top is that she wants Nate to fall in love with her. And her mom's like, well, what is he doing now? Right. What are the actions that he's doing now? Yeah, he might not be saying that he loves you, but what is he doing now? And I could see what you were saying last week, that she is kind of being very pushy. And she does have that wall up too, because she doesn't trust people. They have to earn her trust. Which
is fine. People should earn your trust. Trust isn't given. It is earned.
Well, her mom said, well, why can't you just start off trusting him, and if he doesn't give you reason to trust him, just like back off slowly towards that. And that is also a good theory too, because she is on the show Married at First Sight. She's trusting the process, so she has to put trust within him.
Right. And I was also going to say too, not only is trust earned, but when you go through this process, it's a different kind of trust. You have to like jump in at 100% if that's what you're truly there for. And then the mom explained to us in confessional that she was, and also to Stacia, that she wasn't in the best relationships when Stacia was growing up, so maybe she saw a little bit of that. Stacia saw the trust thing, and whatever relationship didn't work out with her mom and whoever her mother was with, whether it be her husband or someone else. So Stacia may carry some of those issues with her.
I can see
as
that.
well.
Yeah.
So now all the couples are talking about their 1 month anniversaries, and we see Morgan, and she's laying in the bed by herself. She's talking about how much she's drained and how she feels like Ben is not into her, but she is determined when she sees him today that she's going to tell him how he feels, and he's going to know everything about it, and that's going to be that. So now we move back to Kristen and Mitch. They get a knock on the door from Stacia, and I was kind of surprised with this.
Me too.
Stacia volunteered to dog sit the dog. What's the name of the dog? Lacey. Luna. Dog's name is Luna.
The snorer.
While she's
the creature.
While they're on their way on their romantic Monthiversary trip.
Yeah, pause. Before you even continue with that, I was surprised that Mitch planned a getaway. When's the last time we seen a husband plan a getaway and actually go through with it? Shout out to Michael.
We've seen it before, but I knew you were going to say that. But here's the thing. I was like, now, did did someone inform Stacia that the dog snores, the dog has special needs? Because
Yeah, her husband did.
maybe she thought he was joking, but when Kristen had the bag of Luna's stuff, like, you got to clean between the rolls, I'm going to do it today, but you make sure you do it tomorrow and the next day. She's like, the dog needs all this? I'm thinking, girl, it's a dog. It's not your dog. So yes, the dog, whatever they want you to do for the dog, you volunteered, you sign up for the dog. Mm-hmm. So Mitch and Kristen go to their retreat, and it looks like it's a place to do yoga, maybe like a Buddhist serene thing. I don't know if it's a temple. I don't think it's a temple, but just somewhere to go that's peaceful, just has those type of artifacts and things in there.
Okay.
And I was surprised that, am I surprised? Kinda, that Mitch wanted to do yoga. I don't necessarily see him doing yoga. But when they were doing the yoga,
what do you see him doing?
I don't know, not
You
yoga
think he
though.
does like a 4K run?
I don't know. That one threw me for a loop. But when they were doing the yoga, Kristen was happy with yoga, something calm and peaceful. You know, maybe like more meditating Mitch, not necessarily yoga, but I could kind of see maybe, I guess. When he's doing the poses, he's like, he's grunting. I'm like, do you need some Aspercreme to rub in them joints, Mitch? Because you're making a whole lot of noises like you haven't been stretched in a while. Mm-hmm. You know? So, and after they had their yoga session, and didn't the yoga lady have the softest voice, like kind of like put you to sleep, like, okay.
It did put me to sleep.
You took you a little nap in between?
It did. It was a nice, when I was listening to it, I was like, wow, that's a nice voice. Next thing you know, I was out to commercial.
But they seemed like they had a good time with that, and Kristen was happy that they're bonding. That's one thing with Kristen though. She always has said so far, I'm bonding, I'm here for you, I'm by your side, and we can make it through. And Mitch seems like he's turned a corner, but again, sometimes I'm not so sure how far of a corner that he's actually turning.
Yeah.
And now Lindy and Miguel. So Lindy to me is just here for whatever, as far as I'm concerned.
She's down for whatever.
She just seems like it.
For whatever. She's a down chick.
So they go on a boat ride, and she says, Miguel, they celebrate all their milestones. They celebrate everything. She goes, this is as big as she wanted, but it's a start. I'm thinking, be happy, Lindy.
That he's actually even doing something.
Yes.
He's only doing something for experimental purposes.
That's it right there. I mean, but okay. I mean, let her go back in her happy-go-lucky mood for right now. Mm-hmm. And but Mitch says that he's happy that
Mitch or Miguel?
Excuse me. Miguel says that they're happy that they've preserved, and he didn't think that he would get to a place where he felt kind of like this peace. Mm-hmm. And Lindy's like, yeah, I'm just all on the bandwagon. I'm like, whatever Miguel says, she's just like, oh yeah, me too.
She want to get on her insurance. She want to get all the benefits. She wants to get all the financials.
But the thing that stood out for me in this scene was, he's like, yeah, I'm glad we got past of you kind of like being Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and popping off. She goes, what? I haven't popped off yet. She said,
I don't think she's popped off yet either. That's the thing.
He was like, huh? She goes, buckle up. I was like, oh my goodness.
That's why when people say that she's crazy, I'm like, I don't see it yet.
All right, so back now to Stacia and Nate. They are going to see the lawyer, but before they go, the dog is just like scratching at the door. The dog knows where he lives, or she lives. She knows she lives down the hall. She's trying to get there. She's trying to figure out why she's at your house. Mm-hmm. And she's like, do you think we should take the dog to the lawyer? Nate's like, it'll be all right. I feel you on that one, Nate. The dog will be all right. So they get to the lawyer, and today is the day that they're signing that post-nap. And I'm kind of surprised still that Nate decided that he was going to do that. He said he wanted to make Stacia comfortable in the relationship, that she's there for him, and this is his way of opening up. And so one of the questions Stacia gave to lawyers was like, okay, so let's say we had $1 million. And we have a joint account. If someone puts in 90-10, like, shouldn't the person who put in the most money get the most money back? And she looked at Nate, was like, do you agree with that? He goes, yeah, like whatever. So I guess she's trying to say that I'll probably be putting in the most money. Don't be looking for this amount of money because you're not getting it.
Hey, whatever you gotta do to make sure you are protected with your assets, then you just gotta do it.
Yeah, so they agreed to whatever they agreed to. We didn't hear all the specifics because it's legal, of course, but that was good to see that he decided he was going to open up for Stacia to show him that, you know, you can trust me. Now we move to where the couples are seeing their wedding pictures for the first time and having their vows, you know, and their
photo
frames
book.
and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Kristen and Mitch, why do I keep saying Mitch? Kristen and Mitch.
Maybe you want to say Kristen had mentioned.
No,
Kristen and-
I think I just named them Mitch. Yeah.
No, Kristen and Mitch.
Kristen and Mitch, they're looking at their photos, and Mitch says emotionally too, like that day was really pretty cool. I was like, what?
Were you just shocked this whole episode?
By Mitch, yes. I was like, pretty cool because one, you made it seem like her mother was the bride. And two, you know, you was like, well, I don't dress up and do all this. Like, do you mind taking off like your shoes or whatever she had on? Like, he just wasn't here for the fanfare.
Well, maybe he still had a good time underneath it all.
Well, he said he had a good time, and he actually said that the wedding photos made him feel sentimental. And I'm like, so we're between like you wanting this, not wanting the fanfare, and you feeling sentimental looking back at the pictures. But they both agree that they're embracing this marriage to be positive, and they both actually say that they can see themselves falling in love. I was like, okay. So Miguel and Lindy's after their trip, so I think their trip got cut short because while they're on their boat trip, it looked like it was raining on the ocean, lightning, so you got to get off the boat. Lindy is telling Miguel that she needs to feel secure to continue on a relationship. I'm like, see, here we go. We're starting to give back on the flip side. You were just saying how, you know, you were happy and giddy and all this stuff, and now she's saying how she needs to feel secure, but he knows this already. I think he knows because you tell him all the time, which is okay. And she said she's feeling so secure in Miguel that she no longer bites her nails. They look good together. They're doing good together. But when they're looking at the photos, she points out the fact that, oh, look at your face. Oh, look at our when I'm walking down the aisle. Oh, look how awkward you are. Oh, look at this, look at that. Like she's pointing out the negative. And Miguel noticed. He's like, why do you keep doing that? Like, this is supposed to be a special moment. Like, why are you know, why do you just see that? He's saying in his confessional, like, you know, she's being real snarky. I'm like, snarky? See, you do not need to give Miguel just another reason to add to his checklist. Because remember, Linda, you said does he have a checklist? To go to why he's not going to stay for these 8 weeks. You just put on the wedding this and the wedding that. And I'm like, see, he's writing it down. He's mentally checking those boxes off. You know, what do you think about that?
I agree with you. I ain't got nothing to say on that. She definitely switched up. But still not crazy yet.
So let's move to Alexis and Justin. They didn't go out on an anniversary date. They are sitting there scrapbooking their wedding mementos. I thought it was already nicely scrapbooked anyways, but they decided to do their own. And they get to talking about their honeymoon. Really, that's all they could talk about. I guess that was the most positive thing for Alexis so far because she brings it up. And, you know, she said, let's just try to enjoy the moment. Justin agrees. And then Justin tells her about meeting up with his brother. And she's like, oh, really? What'd you talk about? And he says, trying to fix a relationship, where we're at now. You know, this relationship and a few other relationships are kind of like going down the same road where
Of what?
they don't know where they're at, but they're trying to figure it out. He says that
They're at the crossroads.
they're at the crossroads, exactly. He said that his brother said, you know, nothing is perfect. You know, try to work things out, know where each other's boundaries are. You know, just similar things we've heard with different people, which is true. And then the conversation came up about having time to fix things. And Justin says he didn't feel like there was enough time to fix things. Like he didn't know, you know, what the direction that their marriage was going and the problems that they've had and have had, you know, all of those
in the past, currently, and maybe in the future.
Right, that there may not be enough time in the 8 weeks. And Alexis like, well, what do you mean? Can you clarify? I don't understand. I'm thinking, yes, you do. Because you're thinking the same thing like you did with your friends along the way, you know. Justin is saying that because
I will say that sometimes Alexis does like to play coy.
she does, but to me it doesn't work. Like,
It does work because it upsets Justin.
that don't mean it's working.
It works because it upsets Justin.
It's not working, but it is upsetting Justin because he doesn't want to rock the boat because Justin always says he's more emotional. And since Alexis is not as emotional, I think Justin feels like if he says anything, that she's gonna like turn that around and be like, see, I told you, not self-regulating, like she's been saying this episode. So I think that's why it's like that for them. But I just think it's just a whole bunch of miscommunication without going into a whole bunch of detail, because they just kept going back and forth. But
it's not miscommunicated. It's not miscommunication if that person doesn't really care about what someone else is saying, and they're not trying to really be heard in that sense. Because in my opinion, I don't think Alexis 100% cares what Justin says.
And then at the same time, she's also saying, well, don't say that. Don't say, we have enough time to fix anything. I mean, we've been together this long. We have the cheat codes. You want to just go through the process, see what day to day, just say day to day. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, but we know how Justin might get after that. So.
Right. So a really quick scene, there's Nate showing the dog in the background. The dog is doing what the dog does. Remember last week, the dog was humping on the pillow. He's like, this is a girl dog. Like, the dog is going to town. And then the dog does a butt drag on the floor. He goes, ew, what's it doing? Nate, the dog's butt's itching. That's what's happening. So now we have Morgan and Ben. Here come the fireworks.
No. I thought it was Stacia and Nate before Morgan and Ben. I thought they saved them for last. So why I remember Stacia and Nate, one, is because they had that picnic outside that was really nice. And, Nate does come and say, in the beginning, with all this, he was here for it. But then she was kind of being a little bit too pushy, and that's what made him, pump the brakes a little bit. But now that he sees that she is trying to be more patient and is trying to be more understanding, that he is starting to fall in love with her, and Stacia is just head over heels.
Oh yeah, she fell all
like,
over that.
I'm 7. She was too happy with that. I was like, okay, girl, she finally got her number that she wanted.
Yep.
But is he really falling in love with her? Is he really seeing it past the 8 weeks?
I don't know.
Only time will tell. But right now, Stacia is just really giddy with that.
She got that 7, and I'm sure he got something else too along with that.
I wasn't gonna see it out, but I'm surprised you said that.
No, because to me that was, because that's moving to Ben.
Before you go to Ben and Morgan, I'm so sorry, Mom. Let's just go ahead and throw this in there too. Now, do you agree that when people get matching tattoos that they stay together?
No.
Well, Stacia and Nate got matching tattoos.
Well, it depends on how long they've been together, I guess. I don't know. It is kind of too early to tell.
You did not care about none of that.
I didn't. Moving to Ben and Morgan. All right, so they decide that they're going to meet at the wedding venue that they were married at. And after that, go to the honeymoon suite.
They or Ben?
Huh?
I said, who's they?
But Ben don't know this yet.
They or Ben? Ben decided.
I don't know. Listen, that's where they decided to meet. Well, Ben is there with some long stem roses that still have thorns on them. Ben, where'd you get these roses from that still have thorns on them? I'm just asking.
I don't know, but it didn't help any, if you ask me.
It didn't help any. Well, here comes Morgan, power walking and ready to set the record straight. Ben has no idea what's coming.
Ben just has a smile on his face. It's like, yeah, I'm so happy to see her. I haven't talked to her since the last time, and I hope she's still not mad, but I got these flowers for her. After that, we go back to the honeymoon suite where we first met. It's gonna be a nice time. And to me, I was like, Ben, are you serious? Or you play with me?
Exactly. I'm thinking, wait a minute, wait. Ben, you think that she is over whatever, and you haven't seen her in a couple days. If you haven't seen her, you clearly haven't talked to her. Okay? And you think she's gonna come here with a smile on her face like, oh, hey, how you doing? No. Because Morgan, she couldn't get there fast enough. Did she walk out of her shoes? Because she couldn't get there fast enough. Well, anyways, he couldn't even say, how you doing? She's like, listen.
He gave the flowers. She just dropped them immediately. Didn't even pick them up or nothing. But they did have thorns on them. So. Go ahead.
That too. She said, I wrote vows and sent them to you for the man and the person who I thought you were. You're not that man, and those vows aren't for you. You haven't been a husband to me.
Hold on. While you say that, I gotta show Ben's face because his face was stuck.
She said, you haven't been a husband to me. You haven't had my back at any time. you just, you go around telling our business. I asked you not to tell the couples any of our business, and you go around to tell Justin.
But
and
Ben was like, but who I'm telling business to? What am I doing that's so wrong?
And I'm thinking, wait, did you see how she came walking up to you, Ben? Clearly she has intel. Like, why are you even trying to defend this? And he was like stutter stepping, trying to talk, but she was cutting him off left and right. He's like,
I just talked to Justin. He was like, and she was like, oh, but what about Miguel? He's like, oh yeah, Miguel too. She's like, oh, Miguel. You are just going off.
She's not here for it.
She's upset. He doesn't understand why she's upset. I understand why she's upset because she already told you she doesn't want you to talk about her business to other people.
Right.
Now, I will say I did see other people once again saying that Morgan's overreacting because it's like, well, if he can't talk to Justin, where can he talk to? Who can he go? If he can't go to Bella Noche's, where the hell could you go?
Right.
Basically, excuse me, language, Mom. But it's kind of like, but she doesn't want the business to be in with the couples because it spreads like wildfire. People talk too much.
Right. Well, maybe she's hoping that he would talk to people who aren't on the cast. Like maybe you could talk to your friend. She talked to her friend, and her friend's not married to nobody. So maybe that would make her feel better because the person he's talking to, that's his real friend, his friend outside of this, doesn't really know her. But the people inside, they have to deal with these people on a regular, consistent basis.
Yeah,
so it's giving them a bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah.
And so I don't think, now with the RN thing on the honeymoon, I think she overreacted. But with this right here, I don't think so. Because see, I asked you again, meaning Morgan, please don't talk to anybody else. Please don't take our business somewhere else. If there's an issue, can you talk to me? And not just that, you are talking to me on FaceTime with the people in the room where she had to ask him nicely, in her nice way, could you please take your behind outside the apartment and talk to me so we can discuss whatever. Yeah. And he just can't see that point. And so she's like, you know what? You can have these roses, you can have this dinner, you can have everything, but I'm going home. The producers got Morgan to stop to talk to Ben for a hot second, and then Ben came over and said, I apologize for, going outside and talking to different people and this and that, and can we work on this? And she agreed to, and then they sat down at a table to talk, and the same things came up. So they really didn't accomplish anything. So at the end of the night,
well, she basically said that she isn't quitting right now because she wants him to see her face
every day. Yeah, but to me, that's like it's almost kind of like a punishment. She goes, I want to have the experts talk to us, and I'm so happy that somebody said this.
She's like, it might be in a few weeks or so.
Right.
I just died laughing when she said that.
To talk to us, because I'm going to go through this process. You're going to have to see me, almost like it's a punishment. Like, you're going to see me go through this process. Yeah, I'm here for it, but like,
and
don't expect
to
film
every time.
Right. That's all she has to talk about because they've built no trust. Those walls are down. I don't even know how Ben, like she said, can get past that hurdle because he barely got past the first one when it happened again.
Right. We was just getting somewhere.
Right. So that was it. And then Ben went to the hotel, the wedding suite alone. He saw the pictures, and producers asked him, are you going to stay? He got his stuff and he left. Like he should have. You came there alone. You left alone yet again. So sorry about that, Ben.
Well, let's just go ahead and jump to basically the last scene of the episode where all the couples, except for Ben and Morgan, are coming together. First, we meet them on a party bus, and then who tells the information that Ben and Morgan's not coming? Can you guess?
You tell me.
I want you to say it, Mom.
I don't know. Was it Alexis and Justin?
You know it was.
Okay. Well, the person that was kind of like taken aback by that was Kristen, because she said, well, I know me and Mitch have problems, but I never saw that coming from them. And I'm thinking,
she's like, well, I'm still here. I didn't know that was a possibility. Has she never seen Married at First Sight before? You don't have to come.
I don't know. Well, they get to their destination and they're going around the table and just talking about
their lives, their business, once again, that Morgan did not want to be a part of because pretty much everybody knows it, according to Justin.
Conversations that stood out for me were Mitch and Kristen, and of course Justin and Alexis, and Nate, not Stacia, but Nate. But Mitch was saying how to the group how he's enjoying this experience now. He's never really lived with a woman, and he's finding how, Kristen, their bond growing stronger, and then he's actually falling for Kristen, falling in love. And she's like, oh my goodness, yes. And the group was like, okay, Mitch, yes. And let me add that Mitch had on a nice suit and dress shoes. Right? That's, because last week he couldn't put on that t-shirt.
Well,
but you have
he probably dressed himself.
That's true. And then when Kristen got to talking, Kristen flipped the script.
She did.
She was like, you know what? I'm going to need you to let me know that it's okay for me to follow my dreams. And that I don't have to feel like I'm compromising myself or making you happy and this and that. She was telling the group that she was getting fed up and she didn't know if she could continue on the process if she didn't feel heard.
Kristen was like, you said that now you're starting to see the light and becoming a husband, but I came as a wife. Everybody at the table said,
Yep.
Even Miguel, But Kristen, she is getting fed up because she does compromise everything for Mitch. So will Mitch change within these next 4 weeks? Only time's gonna tell.
Right. Lindy and Miguel talk about their growing pains, so that we didn't really learn too much from that. But then Stacia and Nate, so we know Stacia has trust issues that she mentioned, but Nate said something that I thought was interesting. He said that, he's a more calm person, and he's, taking things slower at his pace, and he really wants Stacia to understand, where he's coming from and help to build. And he also mentioned that he was falling for Stacia at the table too, in front of everybody, and I thought that was
Some cookie points, brownie points.
Okay.
What kind of points?
I'm not giving it no points, but I just thought it was Nate showing that he was opening up, because Nate's usually the reserved person in conversation. He don't really say a whole lot, so I thought that took a lot of effort for him. And then Justin is talking. I think he's reacting to, I don't know, what Kristen said or somebody said. And then he's saying, we're getting along for the most part. But at the same time, Justin's saying that they're not getting along. In the same breath, you kind of have to read between the lines on that one. And then when he was given the reasons why he felt the way he felt, he turned to Alexis and was like, you go ahead and say what you feel. And the table was like, yeah, go ahead, babe. And he's like, yeah, babe, kind of like sarcastic, responding to her.
You feel like it was sarcastic?
The way he responded, yes, I do. Like, go ahead, babe. Because he tried to get her to do it and she wouldn't do it. And she's like, well, not in this moment right now. I don't feel up to it. And they're like, oh, take your time. And to me, Justin, this is where the self-regulate thing comes out for me. Justin's kind of like picking at her like, well, why? Like, we're all sitting at the table talking about it. So how come you can't? And she just said she didn't feel comfortable. So when she don't feel comfortable and he's like, trying to make her say something pushy, I think that's when she immediately goes from 0 to 100 and falls off the ledge. And she's like, I get you to try to self-regulate. I try to get you to do compromise and
she's
this
like, well,
and that.
my husband wants me to say something.
Right. And so it just, again, miscommunication or lack thereof between them two go left. And I just, for once I'm like, can they just have a normal conversation with the group? Without it being...
Not even with the group, with each other.
I know, but I think with the group, you could bring out, you could say a little bit more, try to be a little bit more comfortable instead of at home when you slam doors or whatever you do. But again, it went left. She got up, went to the bathroom, and Stacia went in there to comfort her too. And then he goes outside, and here come producers again, asking, well, what are you going to do? And Justin's saying he needs time.
But he said, but I'm just falling in love with her so much.
Yeah, and that, him trying to talk to her and get her to open up, that backfired, and maybe he needs more time too. Maybe he needs space.
But for some reason, Justin wanted her to shut down, and I feel like they're back at square one.
Yep. So that was the end of the episode. And I just want to know when the experts are coming for Ben and Morgan. Hopefully it's not more than a couple weeks.
It's probably going to be sometime next week. In their world, a couple weeks. But for us, sometime next week. But I really hope that Ben and Morgan figure it out, and I don't feel like Morgan overreacted. So if you guys feel a different way, I definitely want to know what you guys think in the comments down below.
Don't forget to join the membership, and thank you to all who have joined already. Thank you all again for watching, and as always, live simply, be grateful.